Hello, Yuri. Welcome to the challenge live stream. Thank you so much for joining us to take part in this month's challenge. And hello to everyone watching on whichever platform you're joining us from. This is our live stream to cover the challenges that we release every month. And we have our intrepid researcher Yuri here to attempt this month's Hidden Hazards challenge. How are you feeling about the whole thing, Yuri? Are you excited? Trepidatious?
So I had a brief look, and actually, when Miro, our colleague, asked me if I wanted to participate, I had a look at the challenges, right, like the older challenges, and I was feeling pretty confident. But then I had to look at the ones that were released just now that I have to solve, and I'm a little bit, not as confident anymore, right? It's something I've done in the past for work, but I'm not very skilled in this topic. So let's see.
I think that's one of the things that we like is to bring researchers with no particular specialism in the challenge topic and really throw you in the deep end. There's definitely more like sand and dirt in this month's challenge than there is usually. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing how you get on. As a bit of a reminder about how it can work, you can attempt the challenges in any order. So if you find yourself getting stuck on one, do feel free to skip it and move on to something later. You can always ask for a hint if you seem like you're getting stuck. And to try and keep things moving, I will prompt you with hints here and there to help keep you on the right track. But otherwise, it's kind of over to you, Yuri, if you want to share your screen and share the challenge site, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, sure. I think I'm already sharing. I believe Charlie has to approve it, right? Otherwise, I can go through it again if that's easier. Yeah. All right. Let me stop
Yes,
and
please.
share
Start again.
second.
So I think it's usually true that researchers have managed between 3 and 4 challenges in the hour. I'm gradually taking that number down as I think it's becoming harder and harder. And I think this challenge is among one of the hardest series that we've had so far.
Absolutely.
Um,
Good luck, Yuri.
so good luck.
I'll need it. I'm pretty sure. We should have waited like another month or two for our new researcher to attempt this one, since that's like his expertise. But I hope people will have fun watching me struggle with this one. All right. And I guess the audience is going to be live chatting with you, Galen, or Charlie, right? So maybe they want to help me with some tips. Let's see. Anyway.
I love it. An appeal for assistance at this point.
Already now, right?
Smart.
It's coming earlier than usual, I guess. Okay, so let me read this out. Is corroded but could still be dangerous. Accurately identifying isolated components of military ordnance is a critical skill in post-conflict documentation, open source analysis, and explosive ordnance disposal context. Items are often removed from battlefields by soldiers to be reused by civilians to sell for scrap metal or by collectors. Items removed from their original environment often lack accompanying fragments, markings, or skill references, which makes identification more difficult. Yeah. What is this item? In your answer, include the model and the category of the ordnance. For example, Class H mortar. Okay, well, let's see. Let's make it a bit bigger, first of all. So, all right. So I see some Chinese, or I don't know if it is Chinese. So if someone, can read it, I'm happy to hear it. But let's do a search with Google Lens, first of all. And maybe we can translate that, right? So I see some people have been doing these challenges. I'm not going to, cheat. So, and like yesterday, I saw these were out, but I didn't really try to, read through it or anything like that, just because I wanted to have some fun with you. Not sure if this is gonna help me.
Well, I
No
think of all the
pomegranate.
types of thing you've identified, Yuri, you've shown that
So
it's
maybe,
not a pomegranate.
yeah, I don't think so, right? My expert analysis points at the different directions. So let's see, Chinese traditional. Is this Chinese to begin with? Well, Google thinks so. Let's start, let's give it a try with Baidu. See what happens. Yeah. So I've got this Invit plugin installed, but for some reason it's not really working here. And let me also have a different, another look at Google Lens, just to.
Yeah, it should be possible to skip the results that are clearly challenge write-ups. I think in this case it's just the first one. So all the other ones you're probably good to use if.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I have a lot of exact matches. This one can tell me something. War Thunder. Not sure. So I've got here 3453. Again, not entirely sure about that. Finally got around to posting it. Recently bought at Tankfest. Okay. Soviet IS-2 122 millimeter shell. So what I need to provide here is what type of class, what type of ordnance it is, right? Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So now it says, or I'm not sure whether I can, really trust this, but let's see. The object in the image is an inert artillery fuse, specifically identified as a Chinese projectile fuse, possibly a Type 5. I'm not sure if this comes close to what they're looking for there. Let's keep reading here. It is an ordnance component designed to initiate the detonation of an explosive charge in a projectile, such as an artillery shell. Okay, so translation: no fragmentation, one piece, or similar. Okay. Similar fuses like the British number 106 fuse. All right. And then here, but this is German. Identification of two Chinese projectile fuses. Let's take a look.
And
I'm not sure if I'm
I
doing
should
this
point
live
out.
streaming thing right. I'm talking you guys through everything, but
No,
yeah,
that's
I'm just
perfect. It's
repeating
great
what I
just to
see
see
other
your
people.
method. Absolutely. Just something to flag, though, I think from the Google AI summary is that it confidently described it as an inert piece of ordnance. I think one thing that's important to note is that I don't think from looking at a piece of ordnance it's possible to tell if it is inert or not, and that one should never approach ordnance in real life and should instead contact a specialist if you believe to find yourself in contact with ordnance.
Yeah, thanks for A caveat. I definitely not approach it myself without knowing what it was exactly. So, but yeah, now let's figure out what it may be, right? Something here says, well, let's compare it. It looks just a little bit different. So, oh no, this is Bellingcat. I'll click it away. I wasn't expecting something that far down, so I think this one I already opened. So that was the Soviet one, right? You know what? Typically, I wouldn't do this, right? Like this type 5 where throw it in there. But since it's a race against the clock and I'm already like 12 minutes in, maybe I should just like throw a Hail Mary and see. Yeah. Not sure if I'm on the right track. I might be very, very far off. So let's go through it once more. Number 106 used, but that was the British one, I believe. Show all. Let me also have a look here. So explosive. Yeah, I figured that one out myself. Thank you. Device. Okay.
So I guess an important first question is sort of what sort of ordnance, like the kind of broader category, even before the kind of model number, but what sort of broad category of ordnance do you think it is?
Yeah. Let me have a look. Let me have a look at this. MJ1 Chinese artillery fuse. Not sure if I'm getting somewhere. I think I'm going to try it, and otherwise I'll skip forward to the next question just to.
Galen, is there any advice or tips in the community,
MP1
in the Discord community, that might help? I know someone found it via reverse image search, didn't they? Which was Yuri's first attempt.
Yeah, to find similar devices. Somebody said that they used Google reverse image search to find similar devices and then cross-checked until they found something with the same Mandarin written on the side. And I think I'll share at this point that there's a particularly useful website that you may find helpful throughout these challenges, Yuri. And it is Cat UXO, which is a site for categorizing. UXO. That's the one. And so this is a site dedicated to documenting different types of ordnance. and helping people identify.
All right. So let's see. Type 5. Inert fuse, was it? Well, let's see. Okay, I'm getting type 55. I see some Chinese stuff here. China.
Subtle Knife on YouTube
Six.
says, "Don't overthink, Yuri. Just think simply."
I probably yeah, I guess like I might not fully be aware of what the answer expects from you, right? Like I'm virtually illiterate when it comes to this, right? Like what's a class H or, well, type 5? No. Mortar bomb, is that what they are looking for?
Yeah, so I think that first step is like to try and figure out, is it a mortar bomb? Is it so one of the other categories that you might see on the Cat UXO page, is it a grenade? Is it a fuse?
I'm right in thinking you need the model, the number, and the item.
I'll have. What?
I love it.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at the other stuff here. So here, image by dsns.gov.ua. All right, probably from Ukraine, Russia. Multiple identical objects might help identification, but often they can be partially embedded in soil, weathered by exposure or fragmented into pieces. Effective identification in such contexts require attention to individual shape and construction, as well as different unique elements of the object. Sometimes OSINT can only do so much, and exact models can only be distinguished by physically taking things apart. What is the most likely model number of these three objects? All right. Let me see. Hopefully I can get a bigger one. Take a closer look. That seems to be the exact same. Not much bigger, but so it says in Mykolaiv, after like shelling during the occupation of Ukraine. Yeah, sorry, I'm not reading it out loud. Like I do speak some Russian, but to translate it straight away for you, that's going to be a bit trickier. So FAB 250. Let's take a look. FAB 50. Could be, maybe. So the question was the most likely model number of these three objects. Well, typically I would take much more time before I would even start guessing, but since I'm racing against the clock. Oh, okay, here there's in English as well. It's a big fill. All right. The model number. All right. So it's probably like a component of these FABs, right? Oh, oops. Three airdrop bombs, FAB, cluster bomblets, and various shells. Let's see.
Subtle Knife says observation is key in this one. You may want to look a bit closer at the puzzle.
Yeah. Let's go back. Let's make this bigger. 1888. I think. So these, like, this here looks a bit bigger to me.
So at this point, I'll also take the opportunity to plug our guide from July last year, which was a beginner's guide to identifying explosive ordnance in social media imagery.
Yeah, maybe I should have read that before.
But it includes like a visual flowchart to figuring out at least the category, the type of item.
Yeah, the most I've ever done was identifying like a GBU, I think it was air-to-surface missile or like component in Mali, and that's the most I've done when it comes to this. So, and that one was pretty easy. It was like you could pretty much read what was on there. So here it's a little bit like, I think I can figure it out, 8 or 9H something. So it's just a little bit. Let's see if Google. Let's take another one here. Kind of, I don't see somewhere where they say, okay, here is a higher resolution one, but what about this? Okay, well, there you go. 9H235. And then here is IVO something. I don't have my Russian keyboard here. Oh, I do. IV. Let's see. What does it say? Oh, I think 0. I think it was this. I've got too many tabs open now.
This has been a perennial challenge for people attempting the challenges, is immediately entering tab hell.
Yeah, can imagine. Okay, completely up. Let's go back. I'll close these, except for that cat one. That's really cool site. I'm going to analyze it afterwards, but that's the thing. I haven't really had the time to figure all of that out. Okay, closing those. I'll go back later, but it's really... maybe I'll have more luck with the small letters here. Now, the only thing is this a Cyrillic letter or a Latin letter? But I think Cyrillic. I think they already made a mistake there. So here the it's either H or N, I guess, a Cyrillic N, and it interpreted it as an H, right? So let's try with an H first. But Russian submunition. Oh yeah, thanks. Okay, let's at least read that. A little post for enthusiasts. I'm trying to clarify all the information on Russian submunition type 9H or 9N. Many speak of the... Okay. I'm guessing that's what they want me to answer. Let me just see if that really corresponds. 2, 3, 5. Okay, I'm going to try it. Nope.
So I'll say that you're not quite right, but you are in the right vicinity.
Okay.
And with that answer that you give there, I will point to someone from Claire in the community said, I think typing H instead of a different letter should also be accepted. I had the right answer, but it took me a while to realize it.
Okay, so I typed H. Let's now try, well, since she's saying, let's see, and no. All right, let's go back to this, because I feel like I'm getting somewhere at least. And that's the thing with these challenges, they're pretty fun. I'm learning some new stuff, I guess, or I will learn new stuff. I'm not there yet, but oh, okay. Could that be it? In the end, this challenge is for... jeez. Okay, well, at least I've got one.
Yes.
And this is like an important thing as well to note, is that there's some kind of constraints with the challenge website itself, so we can only accept one answer. I think 9H235 would be the next kind of acceptable answer for this, like, submunition.
All right, I'm going to keep this open. I'll read about it later. All right. Okay, so I don't know if I will go back to this one. I think I'm going to do that one later on my own. I feel like I won't manage within this next half hour, so let's see.
In the interest of your own sanity, I would suggest perhaps skipping this one for now.
All right.
I think this one is there's not a whole lot to go on, and I think it can, judging from folks in Discord, it took lots of people, either they got it almost straight away, or it took them a long time delving through like countless images of this category of object to get it. So
yeah,
it may not be the most live stream friendly.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna give this one a try then, because I see here there's not a lot visible, right? So I'm not sure. Let me start with this one then. And I'm feeling super stupid. I'm gonna be honest. Anyway, I hope I'm not the only one struggling with this, but from the sound of it.
Definitely not. I think lots of folks found things a little bit difficult with this series. I hope in a good way, but of course, most of the time when people are attempting these challenges, they're not doing it on a live stream and trying to solve as many as possible in an hour.
It's a different kind of challenge. And also we pushed you out of your comfort zone as well, which we've been doing with all of the researchers on this challenge. So
yeah. It might be a little bit like my bad, right? Like I don't know what I don't remember what Meryl told me when she asked me if I wanted to do this, but anyway, it's a challenge, right? Like I feel like the air of competitiveness here. Anyway, larger fragments can be deceivingly difficult to identify. Often stripped of serial markings by heat or impact, these fragments may lack obvious identifying features. Surfaces, features, nearby smaller fragments, and overall shape may offer subtle clues, but accurate identification often depends on familiarity with specific design features. So from everything I'm reading so far, it sounds like I'm gonna struggle with this one. Maybe let's go back to my Chinese friend. Okay. So okay, let me first like read. Okay, I'm full disclosure. I don't even know like from the top of my head what they mean by this. So class H mortar as defined by standards like okay refers to a high strength mortar typically used in heavily loaded masonry structures or those exposed to severe weather conditions. Not sure if Google is feeding me right information. Represents heavy or strong mortars having higher strength. Okay. Right. So Subtle Knife told me I was overthinking this, right? And now I'm going to overthink it the other way, right? Like how am I overthinking it and then keep overthinking it? China.
I think the key thing that I would encourage you to do is work out the broad category of submunition first. So, is it a mortar bomb? Is it a cruise missile? Is it a sea mine? What's the kind of broad category of item? Because that will really help with the narrowing down process.
So an artillery shell, some refuses like the British. Okay. Okay, while the specific fuse in the image is identified as Chinese, the general principles of artillery fuses are comparable across different nations and eras. Okay, that was one of the tabs that I closed. Let's take another look. Trying to zoom out. All right. Trying to identify the two fuses. Unfortunately, the period references are not that accurate. Okay. Inert. Yeah, that was what Google was basing itself off, right? So
I think so, yeah.
I need some time to look up relevant information. The first was a 57mm recoilless gun fuse. Okay. Next question. Of the projectile. Okay. Steel marks are repeated so that I can't really see if it's this or that. There's not much difference between the two excerpts that some materials are replaced. Okay, полное перемене. Soviet prototype of the, okay. Smoke bombs. Ooh. All right. That is right. Well, I mean, like, they roughly look similar, but they seem different, right? So I'm not sure if I'm on the right track.
Yeah, I'll give you that you are on the right track. Like they are indeed fuses, because fuses are this kind of category of ordnance that they're the device that often initiates a larger event. So you can see how there it was
Like on the tip,
those were
right?
used in some of those were used in smoke bombs, but they can also be used in other types of projectile or
Yeah.
missiles.
So yeah, I need to figure out like if it's a fuse for, let's say, a smoke bomb, for something else. Yeah.
No, mercifully you don't.
Okay.
Originally, when we drafted this question, you did, but we decided that it was basically impossible to know for sure, and that it was a little bit ambiguous. So it's just a bit like with the sample format, Class H mortar. You're going to be looking for like something of comparable type.
It's worth shouting out as well that the person who wrote that beginner's guide to UXO at the beginning that Galen shouted out is also the person who helped design these challenges alongside his colleague Kate Miller. So you've got them to thank, Yuri, for these challenges.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for exposing my ignorance. Let's see. Did I talk about mortars in there? From when was that guide? Just to see if I can find some tips in it.
I believe it was.
It did briefly. It was July last year, but I think it
Okay.
was one of those results when you search for mortar. Yeah,
Here.
there you go.
Okay.
Beginners.
Oh yeah, that's actually my example. So this is like pretty much the only similar thing I've ever done in my career, actually. So I'm glad it made it into this article, but maybe because of that, people were thinking that I would know a lot about this, which isn't really the case. Hey, this looks kind of similar. Screw closure, fuse, yes. Does it have? Okay, I started. Okay, start. Does it have writing on it? Yes. Use the repositories in the guide to find the meaning of any labels. Or does that also apply to Chinese text? Okay, I'm going for no. Does it have specifically colored parts? No. What shape is it? Now I would say, yeah, let's take a look here. I think this comes closest. Yeah, I would say so. Canonical. Right. Does it have a screw closure? Now I need to take a look. Would this be it? No, like it's the so they're talking about this at the bottom, right? Okay.
Mhm.
Yes, fuse. Okay, well, that much I knew.
Yeah.
Do they talk about anything else here? Anyway.
But yeah, you know you're looking for fuses now. You know the kind of location of sorts.
Okay, 100 mm type 412. Okay. Looks kind of similar. This is a Russian one, but yeah. Okay, and then you have the fuse here. Okay. Let's go back here. All right. Some more questions here from me. I know this is very stupid, but the answer that they are looking for, I guess they don't want to know, okay, what this is. It's a fuse. They want to know what, like, it's a part of what, right? Like, of what type of ordnance. Is that right?
Yeah, so fuse would replace mortar in that kind of answer format. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
so like you're looking for something fuse.
I see. I see. Okay. Well, I
I know that on the CAT UXO page, when you did the search before, I think there were 138 results for fuses originating from China.
Yeah, that's problematic. So I have to. It's also a 412 projectile. Okay.
Just while you're looking at that, I've just put in the chat that for those looking for other munition types, it's not very useful for fuses. The database OSMP can be really useful as well, the open source munitions portal. And they came into our Discord a couple of weeks ago and gave a really cool talk as well on the portal. So you can listen back to that on RSS or podcast platforms now.
Sorry, come again? RS.
It's not relevant for you, Yuri, because it's not.
Okay.
relevant for
It's a general comment.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry, I'm not bringing you tips. Galen may have a few more if in the bag if you ask nicely.
Yeah, let's see. I think some people found the Mandarin, like having once they narrowed down the category of object, they found the Mandarin useful. But don't let me stop you from clicking on that one specific, really helpful looking UXO cat UXO link that your mouse hovered over before I started talking about Mandarin.
Yeah, I saw something there. Like here, let's have a look. Type 1 PD fuse. Oh, okay. Like I don't read any, Chinese characters, but that looks pretty much the same to me. Yeah, I guess. I'm just gonna try this because my brain. Jeez. All right.
Hooray!
Hey,
Okay, that's 2.
you gonna really you gonna tackle the really hard one now, or you're gonna go for the fourth or the fifth?
I want to read what this is all about, right? Like all sorts of ordnance gets buried in war. Okay. Identifying partially buried objects in natural environments is a different challenge. In arid areas, sandy soil obscures key features, making confirmation difficult even when parts are exposed. The lack of contrast between the item and its surroundings, combined with camouflage effects, demands a trained eye and close attention to form, material, and components. What is the object in the image? Use the format model ordnance type. Okay. I'm curious whether Google's even going to recognize what this could be. It looks like it's already struggling just from this quick glance that I'm throwing at this. I can see why people struggle with this one. This could easily be mistaken for scrap. Okay, I think I read this, right? So small cylindrical munition pose particular difficulties, especially when found detached from their launching systems and in very post-impact conditions. Their compact size and often weathered surface can obscure distinguishing features requiring scrutiny of grooves, seam lines, or fuse assembly details. In the absence of skill or contextual clues, this type of identification demands familiarity with a wide range of munitions. What is the model of the object partially buried in the ground? All right. Let's see. Oh. So some stuff here in Ukrainian, right? Like, so you're suggesting something Ukraine. I don't think it's the exact same thing, but at least maybe I'll figure out a bit more about the context. I just don't really read Ukrainian. Cluster munitions are a real threat to life. Yeah. So cluster munitions, perhaps, maybe. No. So these two look the same, but it's a bit different from the one that I've got in front of me. So let's move on. There's a lot of stuff here from. Yeah, so I'm going to translate it. Also, people will be able to follow along. Cluster elements. All right. Yeah. Just don't really know much about the origin of this ammunition, right? Like where it's from.
Someone on Discord joked that it looked like a thermos.
Like a furnace.
Thermos, you know, for like your coffee.
Yeah. Let me see what they mean. Like if Google will give me an example of. Anyway, while it's loading. Nah. To Google, it just looks like weaponry. I have no clue what it looks like, to be honest. It just looks like some kind of like cheap water bottle that has been, dug in the ground for too long.
Well, you have 9 minutes to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to happen in 9 minutes. I'm going to tell you, but
so I think one of the things to say is that it's the kind of flanging around the outside, I think, indicates that it's launched out of a tube.
Sorry, come again? Out of a
tube of some sort. So the different
yeah,
the little grooves around the outside of it are kind of identifying features and show that it's perhaps fired from a grenade launcher.
Yeah. All right. So, an exploded Russian munition in Krasnohorivka. All right. I think this one is also very similar to the other few that I found before. But same. Yeah.
So from these, I think you're seeing that it's like definitely a grenade, possibly a Russian grenade.
Yeah. This is fragmentation submunition. Yeah, that was like the same as the last one, right? Or at least from this quick glance, this one looks like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll need more time than 6 minutes to finish this. I don't really have time to start a new one, but yeah, thanks for the invite. Yeah, it's certainly very humbling, right? There's so much that we don't know, or I don't know, right? So this is like a whole new thing for me. I've done a bit of like conflict related stuff, but usually it's like geolocating where an execution took place, right? And that's quite different from this, I'm afraid. Yeah, I'll definitely keep playing this and try to figure this out and the other three that I didn't do. Yeah, and maybe later I'll read what others wrote to see how they figured.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Discord is full of people with interesting tips and different perspectives. I think this challenge has been kind of particularly unique in the challenges so far, that it's like very specific, very domain specific. So whereas like lots of the challenges have had, maybe some geolocation components or like a combination of skills of both kind of Googling and other stuff. This set of challenges, I think, is definitely more impenetrable when it comes to like diving in from the outside. I think this is probably a good lesson as well, that those pages like Cat UXO, like that are documenting different types of munitions, like they're providing a really valuable service because they are documenting all of these different types of munitions that have like really subtle distinctions. I know that for this particular one, myself and Andro, who provided the image, spent a little bit of time going back and forth trying to decide on exactly the correct answer, and referencing like different sources in different languages, trying to make sure that we got it exactly right. So it's definitely a
it's
definitely a tricky one.
It's interesting. Also, yeah, now glancing over here, seeing what AI is writing me in for cyanide trap, but yeah.
And I think this is one thing that actually, like, watching you do this and seeing the AI summaries, like the AI summaries have been so wrong throughout all of this, really. There's been a couple of bits where it's been along the right track, but I guarantee you that this is not a cyanide trap.
Yeah, that's another thing, right? Like, I was going to say, right, like, that's the thing with Google. It's like enabling this without you even asking for it, right? Like, and I think sometimes it helps with like easier questions, like very obvious stuff, right? But when it's something, you know, does this, or even with geolocations, I see they're off with geolocations. Maybe if it's like a well-known place, let's say Times Square, or I don't know, somewhere in London, like Tower Bridge or whatever, then I guess they will have that one right. But usually it's yeah, you cannot just blindly trust it.
Yeah, and I think at the moment, kind of generative AI systems are like, they're so good at presenting confidence, and that's great when the material that is being referred to, or the kind of, you know, the nouns, the tower bridges, the places are correct. But I think, yeah, when it goes wrong, it has no way of reflecting to you as the end user that the information has some uncertainty.
Yeah.
So, but no, thank you so much, Yuri, for taking the time to do these. And honestly, I think getting 2 of this particular challenge in the hour is a real achievement. I have to admit, I was a little bit worried when we embarked that it might be a clean sweep. So I think getting 2 of the 5 is pretty good going. And please let us know how you get on if you attempt these.
Yeah, please do.
I mean, like, after this, I'm gonna keep going, to be honest. I'm now like, oh damn, I must finish this, right? So yeah.
Should we just leave the stream on, just you by yourself, like the next 3-4 hours?
Oh, that's going to be too embarrassing. But I'm gonna let you know whether I finish it or not.
Please do. And by the way, if anyone's watching and they have managed it and have boasted about it online, please let us know, because we want to include any write-ups that you do of you taking on the challenges in our next newsletter, which you can also subscribe to on the Bellingcat Challenge website.
Yeah, I already saw like that Medium post and maybe one other place. So yeah, maybe that person can write you guys, right?
Exactly. All right, I'll let everyone go. Thank you so much, Yuri. Thank you for taking this on, and thanks, Galen, as always.